We've all heard the foundational story, right? That the first human, Adam, was created from clay. But that simple fact, well, it's really just the cover of the book. The story inside is this epic, cosmic process. So let's actually dig in and explore the incredible blueprint behind that creation, from a single handful of earth to the father of all humanity.
So how does a handful of dirt become the ancestor of every person on Earth? What were the actual steps? Who was involved in this whole thing? We're going to follow that divine blueprint step by step, from gathering the raw material all the way to that very first breath.
Our story begins, as you might guess, with the divine plan itself. The very first step was deciding on the source material for this brand new creation, and that meant starting with, you guessed it, the earth.
The Quran lays the foundation for us right here, describing the material as clay from a kind of dark, aged mud. So that gives us the elemental basis for humanity. But the story of where this specific clay came from, that's where things get even more interesting. You see, according to a narration from the Prophet Muhammad, God didn't just scoop up clay from one random spot. No, he decreed that a single handful be taken. But this handful was made up of soil from every single corner of the planet, every mountain, every valley, all the different kinds of earth, all mixed together. And this is where it all clicks into place. This is the theological explanation for human diversity. Because that original clay was a mix of the Earth's red, white, and black soils, Adam's descendants, that's us, would reflect that exact same diversity in our skin tones. Our variety isn't some accident, it's literally embedded in our origin story from day one. Okay, so the divine order was given. But gathering this special clay wasn't going to be a simple task. It actually required a full-on angelic mission. And as we're about to see, the earth itself had something to say about the whole thing. So first, God sends the great angel Jibril. But when he gets there, the earth literally pleads with him, saying, "I seek refuge in God from you." So Jibril returns. Then God sends Mikail. And again, the earth seeks refuge, and Mikail also comes back empty-handed. Finally, God sends Izrail, the angel of death, and when the earth pleads with him, he says, "I also seek refuge in God from returning without completing his command." He didn't hesitate. He gathered all the different soils from all over the world and ascended back to the heavens.
So, the clay has been gathered, it's been mixed, and God himself fashions it into a human form. But this body, the body of Adam, would just lie there, inanimate, for a very long time. And it became this focal point of curiosity and even conflict up in the heavens. For 40 years. Can you imagine that? For 40 years, Adam's physical body just lay there like a lifeless clay vessel, a silent, empty blueprint of humanity, just waiting for that spark. During this long period, the angels would pass by and they were filled with this sense of awe, but also a little bit of fear at this mysterious new creation. But one being, well, he had a very different reaction. And this moment really sets up a core conflict. While the angels are in total awe, Iblis, who we'd later know as Satan, he was just filled with arrogance. He'd circle Adam's body, he'd even strike it and go in through its mouth. He told the other angels that this hollow thing was nothing to be afraid of, and he vowed that if he ever got power over it, he'd destroy it for sure. The seeds of his rebellion were already right there for everyone to see. And get this. When Iblis struck the body, the dried clay supposedly made a sound, just like when you tap a piece of pottery. This physical detail is directly referenced in the Quran, giving us this really powerful sensory image of Adam's inanimate form, dry, hollow, and just waiting. Finally, after those 40 long years, the moment arrived. It was time. Time to unite that physical form with its spiritual essence. It was time for God to breathe the soul, the ruh, into Adam. Now, this process wasn't instantaneous. It wasn't like flipping a switch. As the soul entered Adam's head, the first thing he does is sneeze. The angels then prompted him, "Say Alhamdulillah." So he did, and God himself replied directly, "May your Lord have mercy on you." Then, as the soul reached his eyes, he saw the fruits of paradise for the very first time. And when it reached his stomach, he felt that first pang of desire, the urge to eat. He was coming alive, one sense at a time.
And right here, in this moment, we see a defining human characteristic emerge. Before the soul had even made it down to his feet, Adam, seeing all the delicious fruits of paradise, instinctively tried to get up and jump towards them. This exact moment is referenced in the Quran as being a fundamental part of our nature. It's that drive, that haste, which, can lead to impatience, but also to striving and reaching for whatever's next.
So now he's complete, body and soul are united. Adam was more than just some new creature. He was created for a really profound purpose, which brings us to the ultimate question. Why? What was the whole point? What was the responsibility that came with this one-of-a-kind creation?
The very first gift given to the now fully alive Adam was knowledge. God taught him the names of everything, and not just the labels, but their deep properties and their purpose. This gave him a unique capacity for understanding that set him apart from every other being, and yes, that includes the angels.
And to demonstrate this, God presented all of creation to the angels and asked them to name everything. They couldn't. They admitted their knowledge was limited. They only knew what God had taught them. But then, when Adam was asked, he named everything perfectly, even explaining its function. This wasn't just a pop quiz. It was a clear demonstration of humanity's unique role.
This incredible capacity for knowledge is what qualified Adam, and by extension all of us, for a very special role: to be a Khalifa on earth. Now, this term basically means a steward, a guardian, a viceroy. It's this sacred trust to manage, protect, and look after the world. So our creation wasn't just about existing. It was about being handed this monumental responsibility.
So when you put it all together, this origin story tells us that we are literally made from the substance of the entire planet, and we're animated by a divine breath that grants us this immense capacity for knowledge. It really leaves us with a profound question, doesn't it? If that's our blueprint, what does it truly mean to live up to that? And what is our real potential as guardians of this world?